on the gun, and one thing led to another, and the guy grabbed one of our possessions, briefcase, headed for the door, turned around, and opened fire on my husband.
Wow.
And he returned fire. And special forces, right? He returned fire. And in my mind, there's absolutely no doubt that we are alive today, and we just had our first anniversary on the 4th of July because of the Second Amendment.
Special Forces, her husband was, Green Beret. Not long after that, a popular author, Jeff Pearlman, popped up writing, "All would have ended better had she simply handed the gunman her money, and then when he left, called the police." And he is not the only one who feels this way. Joining me now, Dana Loesch. She's the host of Dana on the Blaze TV and the author of Hands Off My Gun. Dana, so he goes on to say, you know, was he there to kill people and wind up serving life for armed robbery, or there to simply make a quick score and suggest that she had a cowboy mentality?
Yeah, Megyn, thanks for having me back. And Jeff Pearlman, I didn't realize, Megyn, that he was such an expert. Why is law enforcement in New Mexico, why are they worrying with talking to Lynne Russell and her husband? They can just call up Jeff Pearlman because he apparently knows everything that happened in this case. He knew the criminal's mind inside and out. He is presupposing that this guy, who it seems to me was also profiling this couple, because if he's following her into the hotel room and pushing her in there while the door is open, that signals to me that he's been watching them, and I guess Pearlman missed that while he was so busy navel gazing. That's kind of a significant detail, but he's presupposing that this guy just wanted the money. I don't know. You're pushing a woman into a hotel room, so nobody can see what you're doing, and you have a loaded gun, you're a criminal. It seems to me that there's a little bit more that this guy wanted to do there. She was absolutely justified, as law enforcement also felt, because they're not charging either of them.
How is she supposed to know in the moment that he's only robbed before? He hasn't murdered before, and so the stakes here are really just her money and not her life.
Right. It's victim shaming. That is what Jeff Pearlman is doing. He is victim shaming, the same way that the left tells other individuals that they are victim shaming rape victims. What, was Lynne Russell supposed to look inside this criminal's mind and just automatically know that? Why is Pearlman giving the criminal the benefit of the doubt here, Megyn? Why isn't he giving the victims who acted in self-defense the benefit of the doubt? It's because he's partisan on the 2A issue.
Well, she said she's going to come back and give us a longer interview. We only had a short time last night, so we'll get into some of these questions when she does. Let me turn to Kid Rock, who is a friend of the Kelly Files and has been for a long time, and he is now under fire for the Confederate flag, which he has used in some of his performances, and this group in Detroit, a city he has done a lot to help, now wants him boycotted, and they're calling him a zero because he's used the flag.
That's right, Megyn. And we don't even know when the last time Kid Rock actually used a Confederate flag as part of his stage performance. And you're right, he's done a lot to help. Detroit, probably more so than the Michigan chapter of the National Action Network, Al Sharpton's group. And that's the group that staged a protest outside of a museum that had a Kid Rock exhibit because, you know, he's a hometown native. The museum didn't even have a Confederate flag, by the way. But they're angry. In fact, one of the individuals who took part in this protest, Megyn, was saying, why would he have a symbol that represents genocide to Detroit? And when I think, Megyn, when I think of genocide to Detroit, I think of the policies and the people who have been governing Detroit for the last 20, 30, 40 years that have run this city into the ground.
And the suggestion that Kid Rock is some sort of a racist. By the way, I'd like to introduce you to Bobby Jr., Kid Rock's African-American son. Okay, so
who's going to be a dad? Who's a dad now?
I wonder if Bobby Jr. knows that his dad is a racist because he puts his flag on the board. But here's the other thing that I really need to share with the viewers, because he has shared with us a message for those who are demanding that he denounce the Confederate flag, and this is a quote. He said, please tell the people who are protesting to, quote, kiss my ask me some questions. I
love it. Megyn, they need to ask how many people the Confederate flag killed, how many black lives were lost in Chicago over July 4th weekend because of the Confederate flag.
Yeah, good question. Dana, always great to see you.
Thank you, Megyn.
See what I did there? Was like a play on words. Up next, new details on what caused computer systems to crash at the stock exchange, the Wall Street Journal, and a major airline. Coincidence?
This program is brought to you by Polident. Use Polident